The views and opinions expressed in this podcast are simply that, opinions. All are presumed innocent until proven otherwise in a court of law. Sensitive topics are discussed. Discretion is advised.
Welcome back. This is On the Record. Of course, I'm your host, Cody Thomas. And last time, we took you inside the opening days of a Florida murder trial where prosecutors said Jose Soto Escalera killed his pregnant mistress, Tania Wise, to keep his secret from destroying his marriage. Now, jurors heard his own words, "I'll dump her, I'll burn the clothes." And they saw DNA evidence tying him to his unborn child. Now the story picks up with more surveillance, chilling recordings from inside a garbage truck, and the defendant's decision to stay silent, and at the end of it all, a jury's verdict. Day 3 began with a simple fact. Waste Pro trucks have cameras, and a neighbor's surveillance helped connect the audio to a place and a time.
Was your home outfitted with a surveillance system?
Yes.
Okay. What kind of surveillance system was that?
EasyViz?
Okay. And did it record video?
Yes.
Okay. Did you have cameras located on your house?
Yes.
What positions were they located?
2 up front, 2 in the back. They were pointed towards the side of the house, the driveway, and then backyard.
But the real firepower came from inside the truck. Secretly recorded talk. An FBI linguist translated a conversation that, without context, sounded like anger. Heard in full, it sounded like a blueprint for murder.
Do you want me to tell you what is going on, or do you prefer not to know? I'm not the only one. She's pregnant from that little that works there. She says it's mine, supposedly. I can't take chances. I lose everything. No, I am telling you the truth. If something happens to me, you already know. I'm going to blow her brains out so she doesn't talk. I have to do it, Eric. I have no other choice. I'm going to lose everything. What I need is someone to drive me. That's it.
Now, it didn't stop there. He talked about how to do it, choking, strangling, and how to keep blood out of the truck.
What do you think about choking her? Unintelligible.
Huh?
Is it better than a blow and just get it over with, right? I got to strangle that. You can't leave no blood or nothing in the truck. I don't want nothing, unintelligible, nothing. If they ever come asking anything, there's nothing. It's like you said it. There's no other way around it. It's like you said. You got to unintelligible and that's it. All the will be over. And the higher up around here, the more they'll blame her boyfriend because they're always fighting. You know what I'm saying? She now has a record in which someone did something to her. You know what I'm saying?
Then the visuals. Cameras showed a truck leaving Jose's neighborhood at 8:11 p.m. and minutes later appearing near the victim's home. The timeline was all coming together.
Did the neighbor to your left drive a truck?
Y el vecino de su izquierda manejaba una camioneta, un truck.
Sí.
Yes.
We are stopped on State's Exhibit 166 at the 9-second mark for the record. The screen reads 8/23/2018. The truck that is where it's paused in this video in your surveillance, do you recognize that truck?
La camioneta que usted ve que está parada en este video de su vigilancia, ¿usted lo reconoce?
Objection, Judge. May we approach?
Yes.
The defense told jurors to be skeptical. They said the translations were unreliable, the recordings inaudible, and the transcripts, quote, bought and paid for.
Your translation and this other person's translation, you heard entirely different things. Is that accurate?
That's accurate. This is what I heard.
Day 4, the state called Jose's boss, who told jurors that, yes, it was his voice on those recordings. Then more audio, this time from the day after the murder. What jurors heard was chilling.
Did you speak to Jose Soto Escalera enough to recognize his voice?
Yes.
Based on that familiarity, if I were to play you a clip from an audio of exhibit number 169, would you be able to recognize his voice? can you tell the jury the identity of the individual whose voice was less audible in that clip?
Eric Alvarado.
Okay. And can you tell the jury the identity of the individual who had a more clear and more audible voice?
Yes, that would be Jose Soto.
On August 24th in court, the translator's voice paints two scenes in one breath: a meticulous cleanup after a violent act and a casual chat about dinner plans. Blood and cleanup, then pizza. The jarring shift leaves the room cold.
And since she disappears like that for a couple of days, no one is going to be looking for her. I already took 2 baths when I got to her house, and I bathed this morning. I bathed. I cleaned my hands with the cleaner, the one for breaks, because I had gloves and everything just in case.
Did you see the blood?
Huh?
Did you see blood? Did you see?
I had it all over the clothes, but without the evidence, they can't do nothing. If something happens, no one saw the bag.
Inaudible.
Exactly. What's for dinner tonight, bro?
Huh?
What's for dinner tonight? I'm thinking pizza.
But detectives admitted when they searched his house days later, they didn't find bloody clothes or a weapon. That gap became a talking point for the defense.
Did the defendant live at Southwest Cactus Circle?
Yes, sir.
Okay. And was a search warrant executed on that residence?
Yes, it was.
On what date?
I believe it was August 28th of 2018.
Okay. And did you recover, did anyone from the sheriff's office who executed that search warrant recover any clothes with blood on them?
No, we did not.
Did you recover any weapon with blood on it?
No, sir.
And then the defense rested. Jose Soto Escalera did not testify. No witnesses, no evidence, nothing to counter what the state had just played for the jury.
Now, back to the Court TV podcast.
Now, day 5 was all about the closing arguments. Prosecutors pointed to motive, to opportunity, and to intent, and said the recordings were his confession. The defense warned the jury, if anything, this was a crime of passion, not a premeditated killing. And words on a recording didn't prove first-degree murder.
How do we figure out who's telling the truth and who's not? Here it is, right here. One of the questions: does the witness's testimony agree with the other testimony and other evidence in the case? In other words, was it confirmed and corroborated, meaning that it's truthful? Or is there evidence that contradicts it, meaning that it's false? Well, remember what Wayne Walker testified to. He testified that the probability of Jose Soto Escalera being the parent of the unborn child Josiah is 99.9999999%. But to be clear, that doesn't make him a murderer, right? That doesn't make him a murderer. He's lying, but that doesn't make him a murderer. What else suggests that this defendant had the motive to kill Tania? Well, as you recall, we have the defendant's statements all the way back to August 21st, and here's the defendant talking to Eric Alvarado, his nephew, and what does he say? She's pregnant from that little that works there. She says it's mine, supposedly. I can't take any chances. I can't take any chances. I lose everything. I'm going to blow her brains out so she doesn't talk. I have to do it, Eric. I have no other choice. Who is the victim talking to shortly before her death? Who is she with? The defendant. If he had nothing to do with these crimes, if he's innocent, what's her blood doing in his car?
So this guy, who allegedly meticulously plans a murder, gets blood everywhere and hasn't had time to clean out his truck. He immediately gives consent to search his truck. He tells him, yeah, you can search my truck, you can search my phone, you can have my DNA, because he knows he didn't murder Tania. And what he later learns is their unborn child. But he knows who did. His wife, Deborah Soto Escalera. Also, why would Jose have waited 32 weeks to get rid of this problem if it really was a problem for him? If he didn't want his child and he wanted to kill Tanya after she didn't have an abortion, that would have been obvious way sooner than at 32 weeks. Why wait months? Because he didn't do it. What if Deborah, having heard Jose's plan to meet up with Tanya, followed him that night after he went out and she killed her? Or what if Deborah was the one driving the truck, right? The state just made all this evidence. Look, there's a truck. There's the truck. Who's in the truck? What evidence did we hear about who's driving the truck? Did anyone identify the driver of the truck? No. You should have doubts about the government's case. Those doubts are eminently reasonable. And you should find Jose not guilty.
Now, after deliberating for just over an hour, the jury returned and the courtroom held its breath.
We, the jury, find Jose Soto Escalera as to count 1, guilty of first-degree murder as charged in the indictment. As to count 2, guilty of first-degree murder of an unborn child as charged in the indictment.
Guilty on both counts. The married father of 4 now stands convicted of murdering Tania Wise and their unborn child 7 years after she was found bludgeoned, stabbed, and left on a rural road. But the jury's work wasn't finished. The penalty phase kicked off on day 6. One final decision. Would Jose Soto Escalera spend the rest of his life in prison or be sentenced to death? 7 members of Tania Wise's family took the stand. They spoke of sleepless nights, of trauma that lingers, and of joy that was ripped away from them. Now, her son Jamar told jurors about the milestones his mother will never see: his first love, his marching band performances, the life that she should have been a part of. Of course, that grief was raw. The pain is permanent. Not one of them mentioned the defendant. Not one asked for punishment. The defense countered with 2 witnesses. A prison expert said Soto Escalera has gone 7 years behind bars without a single violent infraction. A former girlfriend described him as patient, kind, even when he lashed out. Then, the jury decided.
We, the jury, find by a vote of 8-4 that Jose Soto Escalera should be sentenced to death for the murder of Tania Wise.
They chose death. Jose Soto Escalera is now headed to death row. In Florida, that means years of appeals, automatic reviews, and long stretches in a single cell. But the jury made their choice clear: the ultimate punishment for the murder of Tania Wise and her unborn child. And with that, I'm Cody Thomas. Thanks for listening. Stay safe, stay informed, and join me next time we go back on the record.
This podcast is a production of Court TV. Go to CourtTV.com for more content, trials on demand, and to find out how to watch Court TV in your area.